Welcome to the 4th grade math channel of Sun Devil Learning Labs. My name is Miss Houston, and today we're going to be working on adding numbers with the standard algorithm. So we're going to practice a new method of adding numbers together. So today, our objective is, and you guys can go ahead and say this with me, I can add two numbers together using the standard algorithm and tape diagrams. And the only materials that we're going to need today are just some paper and then a pencil and eraser. So here's our first problem for the day. Today, we're going to practice adding common units. So on the left side of our screen here, I have an example of what we're going to do, and then we're going to do one together on the right side. So in our example, we have the number 607, and then I write this number out in unit format. So we have 600s, 0 10s, and 7 1s. So our unit format of the answer is simply 600s, 7 1s. And then below this, I have an equation. In the equation, we have 607 plus 102 equals, and then we're not sure yet. So if we write this out in unit form, we're going to say 600 7 1s plus 100 2 1s, because we have 100, 0 10s, and 2 1s, and that number 102. And then when we add it together, 600s plus 100 is 700s. And 7 1s plus 2 1s equals 9 1s, which gives us an answer of 700 9 1s. Now, if we're to write this answer out in our standard form, where it's just numerical form, it would be the number 709. So I'm going to go ahead and type that for you guys. That would be our number answer. So let's go ahead and try it with our right side over here. So we have the number 402. How would we write this out in unit form? What we would do is we're going to look in the hundreds place. How many hundreds do we have? We have 4, right? So I'm going to write 4 hundreds. And then we have 0 10s. So we're just going to leave that blank. But we have 2 1s. So we're going to write 2 1s. And that is going to be our first answer here. Now we need to write out this equation in unit format. So we're going to write what we have above. 4 hundreds, 2 1s. Plus is really important. Now we need to figure out what this 308 number is. So we have 300s, right? So I'm going to write 300s. We have 0 10s because we have a 0 in the tens place. So we're not going to write anything. And then we have 8 1s. So I'm going to write 8 1s. And then we're going to put an equal sign. So it's going to look just like this. This is our equation. Now we need to solve the equation though. So I'm going to get my text box out. What we're going to do is we're going to add the 400s plus the 300s. 400 plus 300 is 700, right? So I'm going to write a 7. We have 0 10s, so I'm going to put a 0. Now, let's try 8 1s plus 2 1s. That's going to give us 10 1s, right? So you would originally think, maybe I'll write 10, but we can't do that. Because whenever we have 10 1s, as we discussed last week, we need to take those 10 1s and we need to transfer them over. So that way it becomes 110 instead. So instead of having 0 10s in the tens place, we're going to make it 110. Because all of our 1s became 10s since we moved them over, we're going to have 0 1s now. So we're going to put a 0 in the 1s place. So this number is going to equal 710. Now if we write 710 in unit format, how many hundreds do we have? We have 7, right? So I'm going to write 7 hundreds. How many 10s do we have? We have 1. So I'm going to write 110. And how many 1s do we have? 0. So we're just going to leave it this way. 7 hundreds, 110 is going to be our unit answer of this equation. Perfect. So great warm up, guys. Let's move on to our next problem for the day. So in our next one, we're going to practice adding with a place value chart. We did this for the last week or two. We're just going to review it real quick, and then we're going to move on with standard algorithm. So what I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to use the stamp key. That way it makes it easier to see all of our numbers in the chart. For the 1,342, I'm going to use X's to represent this. So looking at our chart, we have 1,000, 300s, so 1, 2, 3, 4 10s, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2 1s, 1, 2. And that comes from the number over here. Now we're going to look at our 521 number. For this, I'm going to use check marks to represent it. So we have 0 thousands, we have 500s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 10s, 1 2, and 1 1 1. So now that we have all of our numbers represented, we need to add these up. So I'm going to grab my text box. In our thousands column, how many shapes or how many stamps did I put in here? Only one, right? So I'm going to write a 1 in our thousands column, and that's going to be it. Let's try our hundreds column now. In our hundreds column, we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. We have 8 stamps, so I'm going to put an 8 in the thousands column, the hundreds column. In our tens column, we have 1 2 3 4 5 6. We have 6 stamps, so I'm going to write a 6. And then in our ones column, we have 1 2 3. We have 3 stamps, so I'm going to write a 3. Perfect. So this gives us our answer of 1,863. Now when I type this out, it's going to look just like this. And we got to make sure we put our commas in, right? And commas belong 3 places to the right. So that way we have them in groups of 3 starting from the right. So this is how we added with the place value chart. Amazing job, guys. We got that one out of the way. Next step, we're going to try doing it with standard algorithm now. Now, standard algorithm, this might be a new term that you haven't heard before. All it really is this over here, just like that. Oops, we got to go back a slide. See how I wrote 831 plus 124? Instead of writing it horizontal like we usually do, we wrote it vertical. And the reason why is because we're going to solve this number doing vertical math, and we'll do that together in a second. You guys will see exactly how it's done. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the place value mat first, though. We'll go to this in a minute. So in our place value mat, for my first number, the 831, we're going to use X stamps. So that's 0 thousands, 8 100s. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. That's 800s. Next up, we have 3 10s, 1 2 3, and then we have 1 1. So I'm going to put a 1 here. Perfect. 831 has been represented in our equation and in our place value mat. And we also see it in our standard algorithm up here. Now I'm going to use a check mark to represent 124. So 124 has 0 thousands. It has 100, 2 10s, and 4 1s. 1 2 3 4. Perfect. Now that all my numbers have been represented, both in our place value mat and also in my standard algorithm over here, we're going to do some addition. So let's start in our ones place. In our ones place, we're going to count the number of stamps. We have 1 2 3 4 5. We have 5 stamps. So perfect. We did the ones place for our place value mat. Now we need to do the ones in our standard algorithm. So when we're looking at this, we are just going to be looking at the ones column right here. So what we're doing is we're adding 1 plus 4. 1 plus 4 equals 5. So I'm going to write a 5 directly below it. Now it's important to write it below it because it's going to keep our place values in line with each other. Perfect. Now let's go back to our place value mat for a minute. Going back to our place value mat, we're going to look in the tens column. In the tens column, we have 1 2 3 4 5. We have 5 stamps. So I'm going to write a number 5 here. Now we're going to move over to our standard algorithm, and we're going to look in the tens column here, which is going to be the 3 and the 2. So if we're looking at the 3 and the 2, 3 plus 2 equals 5, right? So I'm going to write a 5 here. So perfect. Now we're going to go back to our place value mat. Now remember, we're doing this together, place value and standard algorithm at the same time, so that way you guys can see the difference between both of these ways of adding. So next up, what we're going to do is we are going to work in the hundreds column. In our hundreds column, we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. We have 9 stamps in this column. So I'm going to write a 9 in my hundreds column, just like that. Going over to our standard algorithm now, which is this vertical equation, we have the 8 plus 1. 8 plus 1 equals 9, right? So I'm going to write a 9. Perfect. So looking at our place value mat, our place value mat shows that our answer of 831 plus 124 equals the number 955. But look over here at our vertical standard algorithm, we also got an answer of 955. Now for this one, when we were working over here at this equation, we just didn't use any pictures or anything. We just used numbers and digits in order to solve the problem. In our place value mat, we use pictures and addition in order to solve our problem. So that's the difference between these two methods of adding, and both ways give us our answer though. So we're going to do another problem in just a second where we practice both of these together at the same time. So we're just going to type out our answer real quick just to finish this. 831 plus 124 gives us our answer of 955, just like that. Awesome. Let's move on now. Okay, for this one, we now have 728 plus 213. So for this, we're going to do x's for 728. So we have 7 hundreds, 2 tens, and 8 ones. And then we're going to use a check mark for 213. So we have 2 hundreds, 1 10, 3 ones. Now we're going to add. So if we're adding our ones place, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have 11 in our ones place. But remember, 10 ones can be transferred over to 1 10. So I'm going to circle 10 of these stamps, and we're going to make them go into the tens column instead. We're going to trade them up for a 10. So it's going to be no longer located in the ones. It's going to be located here instead, and we're going to just add an extra X. So we're going to add an extra shape. So now let's finish our adding. In our ones place, we now only have 1. Now let's go to our standard algorithm because this is an important step. 8 plus 3. What's 8 plus 3? 8 plus 3 is 11, right? But we can't write 11 down because that's saying we have 11 in the ones place. So what we're going to do is we're going to trade up again. We're going to put a 1 right underneath the 8 plus 3. But we're also going to put a 1 up here on the 2 plus 1. The reason why we put a 1 up here on top, and I'm going to circle it for you guys, is because we are trading 10 of our ones up for 1 extra 10. So this 1 up here is the same thing as this 1 in our tens column. So now let's add up our tens column. In our tens column, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 stamps. And then looking at our tens column in the standard algorithm, we also have 4 because 1 plus 2 plus 1 equals 4. Let's go to our hundreds column now. In our hundreds column, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 stamps. And then looking at our standard algorithm, 7 plus 2 equals 9. So both of these ways of adding are going to give us our same answer, where 728 plus 213 equals 741. Ta-da! So that's how we add with the standard algorithm and the place value mat. Both methods can be used. It doesn't matter. Either will work, and both will still give you the same answer. Fantastic job, everyone. So next up, we're going to go on a field trip today. We're going to do something super fun and super special. So I'm going to take you guys out to a picnic at the park, and we're going to be working on some math problems there. So tune back in a sec, and we'll be on our field trip. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our field trip today. As you can see, we're on a picnic at the park. It's a bright, beautiful, sunny day in Arizona, and what better way to spend it than with you guys and having a picnic at the park. So, with me today, I have packed my favorite snack. My absolute favorite snack is crackers. As you can see here, I have some bowls of crackers, and I'm so excited to eat. I am so hungry. So, I have a bowl of crackers right here. In this bowl, there are 27 crackers. So I'm going to pour it into my bowl. This is my bowl I like to eat out of. So here's 27 crackers. That doesn't really look like a lot though, and I'm really hungry. I think I want some more crackers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an extra 15 crackers to this bowl. So I'm going to pour 15 more in. Yummy. Now, I'm curious though, how many crackers are in this bowl? I had 27 crackers, and then I added an additional 15 crackers. How many total do I have in the bowl? Well, we can figure this out. Let's do an addition problem together. So what I would like you guys to do is on your piece of paper, I'd like you to take a second, and you're going to go ahead, you're going to draw a place value mat, just like I have over here. You're going to draw it so that way it has the thousands, hundreds, tens, and ones place. And then once you're done with that, you're going to go ahead and you're going to draw our standard algorithm, which we just talked about in the last few slides. It's a vertical demonstration of our equation. So you're gonna write 15 plus 27 because we're adding 15 crackers and 27 crackers together. So go ahead, pause the video and take as long as you need to draw out your chart and your number line. And then once you're ready, come on back. So now that you guys have your number line and your, I'm sorry, not number line, your equation and your chart created, let's go ahead and we're gonna solve this problem. So we're gonna start off with our place value mat and we're gonna put the number 15 in it. So what I'm gonna do for this is I'm gonna take my blue marker. We're gonna use blue to demonstrate 15 today. So I'm gonna draw one shape. I'm just gonna put a dot in the tens column. And I only need one because in 15, there's only one in our tens column. And then now we're gonna do our ones column. In 15, we have 5 ones. So I'm gonna draw 5 dots in my ones column. So your guys' place value mat should look something like this. We have 1 in the tens column and 5 in the ones column. Now we're gonna represent our number 27. 27, I'm gonna use an orange marker for this one. So in 27, we have 2 tens. So I'm gonna draw 2 orange dots. And then on our ones, we have 7 ones. So I'm gonna draw 7 orange dots. So when you're done drawing your dots, your chart should look something like this. We have our 15 represented in the blues and then our 27 represented in the oranges. Now that we have all of our numbers represented, it's time to add them together. So we're gonna start in our ones column. In our ones column, we have 5 ones plus 7 ones, which equals 12, right? But instead of writing just 12, we know that 10 ones can be traded up for 1 10. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna circle 10 of these ones and I'm gonna trade them up for a 10. So I'm gonna add a new one and I'm gonna put this new one as an X. That way you guys can see where I did the trading. Perfect, now that we have that traded up, we can now add properly. So in our ones column, since we took 10 away, we only have 2 dots left. So I'm gonna write a 2 at the bottom. Now before we go on to the tens column though, we're gonna practice with our standard algorithm. So we all should have charts that look just about like this right now. So in our standard algorithm, we're looking in the ones column. We are looking simply at the 5 and the 7, just like that, 5 and 7. So what's 5 plus 7? It's 12, right? But 12 is, we're saying 12 ones. We need to trade up 10 of those ones for 1 10. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna write a 2 underneath the 5 and the 7 and a 1 on in the tens column. This 1 that I have written right about here, it's showing that we are moving up 1 set of tens over to the tens. That 1 is demonstrating this X in our place value mat. And then the 2 is demonstrating the 2 left over that we still have. And the 2 is also seen in our place value mat here. Now let's add up the tens column. In our tens column, we have 3 dots and then the 1 set of tens that we moved over. So I'm gonna write a 4 in my tens column. And then if we look at our standard algorithm, we have 2 plus 1 plus the additional 1 that we moved over before, which equals 4, right? So if we look at this, in our place value mat, we have 42 as our answer and also for our standard algorithm. So our answer for this is going to be 42. 15 plus 27 equals 42 crackers. And 42 crackers is our answer. So that's how many crackers I am going to be eating today. Yummy, I love crackers so much. So one other way that we can look at this is with a tape diagram. I've drawn this out for you guys. We had our first part, which was 15 crackers. And then we had our second part, which is 27 crackers. 15 plus 27 gives us our whole bowl. And this whole line here demonstrates my big bowl of crackers, which is gonna give us 42 crackers. Yum, man, I love crackers so much. So this has been a really fun picnic so far, right guys? You know, I'm looking at all the decorations and stuff on the table. They all look super great. But this vase of flowers, it looks kind of empty, right? There's not a whole lot of flowers there. I did the math before, and there are 25 flowers in here so far. I feel like it needs a little bit more though. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna add some more flowers. Here's another bundle of flowers I'm gonna add to it. beforehand, I counted these up. There are 18 flowers here. So I'm going to add these additional flowers. Now that looks so much better, doesn't it? So my real question now is though, I had 25 flowers. I just added 18 more. Now, how many flowers in total are in the vase? Well, we can solve this once again using addition. So I'm going to have you guys draw out another place value mat and a standard algorithm problem. So what you're going to do is you're going to do your place value mat again with the thousands, hundreds, tens, and ones. And then for your standard algorithm, you're going to write 25 plus 18 because I started with 25 flowers and I added an additional 18 to that. So go ahead, pause the video, take a minute or two to draw out your place value mat and your equation, and then unpause and we're going to solve this together. So now that you guys have your stuff all drawn out, let's represent the 25 in our place value mat. 25 is going to be represented with our orange marker. So I'm going to draw 2 dots in my tens column and 5 in my ones column because we have 25. And then 18, I'm going to use my blue to demonstrate this. 18 has 1 10 and 8 ones. So I'm going to draw it out so that way it looks just like this. We have my 25 in orange and my 18 demonstrated in blue. Now it's time to add. Let's start in our ones place. In our ones place, we have 8 plus 5, which is 13, right? 13 is more than 10 though. So we can take 10 of these, we can circle them and trade them up for 110, just like we did with our crackers. So I'm going to circle 10 of these dots. And I'm going to trade them up for 110. I'm going to put an X where that is. So your place value mat should look like this. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to go to our standard algorithm and add 8 plus 5. 8 plus 5 is 13, right? But since we did some trading up, we're going to put a 3 in that ones place, and we're going to put a 1 on top, just like this. Just like that. The 1 is saying that we transferred 1 set of tens over, and the 3 is what's left behind. So now let's add. In our ones place, we only have 3 left over, right? And then in our ones place over here, we already wrote 3. So we're just going to have 3 in our ones. Now let's look to the tens place. In our tens place, we originally had 3 dots, but we also added that extra group from before. So now we have 4 in our tens place. And if we look at our standard algorithm, we have 25 plus, 2 plus 1 plus 1 in our tens place, which is 4, right? So I'm going to write 4 down, which means that we're going to have an answer of 43. There are 43 flowers in the vase, and we determine this from our place value mat and by using the standard algorithm, just like that. Now, one other way that we can look at this is using our tape diagram. And this tape diagram is also called a bar model. As you guys can see, we started off with 25 flowers and I added 18. So we had 25 in the first bushel plus 18 in the second bushel gives us a grand total, which is this whole bar of 43 flowers. So we have 43 flowers in this vase. Amazing job today, guys. It was really great getting to have this picnic with you, and I'm so glad you came on the field trip with me. Today we talked about the standard algorithm and how we can add with it using our tape diagram and also our place value mat in order to help us. Anyways, I hope that you guys have a super wonderful day, and we'll see you back for some more lessons this week.